Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mr. Manfredo. We're about 50 snow days into this little break that we've had, but unfortunately for you guys, you still have lessons today. So, without further ado, for English class today, what we are doing is taking a look at the adverb clause. If you had an idea of what you were doing with adjective clauses, then you should be fine with adverb clauses. They're essentially the same thing, except as you can imagine, instead of functioning like an adjective, these clauses are functioning like an adverb. So, some of you might be real good with adverbs, some of you might not. And so we'll just have a little rundown right quick and then we'll get started. So, what is an adverb? An adverb modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. We've gone over that. You should know it. We took an 8 parts of speech test. But an adverb clause does exactly the same thing. Just like an adjective clause, though, it's just a bigger form of what it is functioning as. So it's just a large adverb. So, what is inside of an adverb clause? Well, you're going to have a subject, you're going to have a verb, and then just like an adjective clause, it won't make complete sense by itself because it is a dependent clause. So it needs a little bit of a boost in order to be a complete sentence. So, as you can see, we have some examples here. This is what an adverb looks like. Jason battled a fierce dragon bravely, bravely modifying how he battled. And so, since this is modifying a verb, that must mean this is an adverb. So, same thing down here with great bravery. Jason battled a fierce dragon. We have an adverb phrase right here with great bravery. How did he battle? He battled with great bravery. It's just describing the verb of the sentence. And now we have an adverb clause. Because Jason was brave, he battled a fierce dragon. Um, just like we mentioned before, you have to have a subject right here, Jason. You have to have a verb, was right here. That's a linking verb. Um, but obviously, it can't make complete sense as a complete sentence because it is a dependent clause. So, because Jason was brave, he battled a fierce dragon. Um, in order to check our answer and make sure that this is our adverb clause, just like an adjective clause, we have to make sure that everything else in the sentence can stand on its own. So, he battled a fierce dragon. We have our subject in he. We have our verb in battled. And this entire thing right here can stand alone as a complete sentence. So since we have to have one of each, as many of you might remember, since we have a dependent over here, we have to have an independent over here. And so that works out perfect. This is our adverb clause. You might remember back to adjective clauses that all of them began with a relative pronoun. Well, that is not the case anymore, but your adverb clauses will always start with one of these conjunctions that's in this box right here. So these are called subordinating conjunctions. Um, I remember the little trick I taught you about relative pronouns. They are literally just pronouns that relate. There's not really any fancy trick for the word subordinating, but you can refer back to this chart as you're going through your homework. If you think you have found what your adverb clause is, make sure you double check with this chart here because each one of those clauses will start with one of these words or phrases that's in this box. So if you turn in your homework and there's any answers that don't start with any of these things, I guarantee you that answer is wrong. So just make sure you're double checking with this chart here. I was sweet and kind enough to provide it for you, so please use it. It's just one scroll away. See, your homework's down here and your chart is up here. Um, but for those of you that are really good with your 8 parts of speech, you might realize that some of these subordinating conjunctions can also be used as prepositions. And so some of you are probably like, I have no idea what a preposition is. That doesn't matter to me. Well, in this case, that's probably a good thing. But in case you are like, okay, well, how am I supposed to know if it is a subordinating conjunction or if it's a preposition? Well, all you have to do is look at an example like this and you can see how that works. So we have a preposition here. Before sunrise, we left for the cabin. Down here, we have a subordinating conjunction because, quite frankly, this is an adverb clause. It has a subject and a verb in it. And so this has to be functioning as a conjunction. So before the sun had risen, we left for the cabin. We have our subject here. We have a verb phrase right here, had risen. And so that kind of solidifies that this is functioning as a conjunction. So down here, make sure you double check by using your chart.